Begin with an update on the Kaduna-bound train attack. Evacuation of passengers on the trapped Kaduna-bound train from Abuja has been concluded by security forces, officials of Kaduna State Emergency Management Agency and Nigerian Red Cross. In a statement released by the Kaduna State government, passengers who sustained injuries and other fatalities have been moved to hospitals. The passengers were evacuated from different hard-to-reach areas in forest and rocky locations. The Kaduna State government is still liaising with the Nigerian Railway Corporation to ascertain the list from the passengers manifest for efficient tracking. Governor Nasir El-Rufai appeals to hospitals to attend to victims diligently, as the government will bear the cost of their treatment. Train services on the Abuja-Kaduna route have been suspended while the railway authorities carry out repairs on the tracks destroyed during yesterday's terrorist attack on the train. The corporation says the suspension is temporary and the date for resumption of operations will be communicated to the public in due course. Managing Director of the Nigerian Railway Corporation on Good Morning Nigeria says intense efforts will be made to restore some services. He appeals to terrorists for a change of heart.
If you recall, round about what time did the explosion occur? And what do you know at this time, or even at that time, about the fate of the train driver?
Actually, I never knew it was bandits that were attacking. I thought it was because normally I follow this train regularly. Sometimes if you follow this train, you will see that the people put on stones on the road. So if it comes, the train comes, it crushes those stones, and you feel the vibration, but it's normal. But that of yesterday was serious. It was a serious shake, and the shaking was so vigorous, everything was falling off. Even people on their feet, because it was shaking up and down and sideways simultaneously, and vigorously and seriously. And I knew the time that the train derailed because I had the velocity of the train and the weight that it came down. And you know, because of those sleepers, the train now is moving on those sleepers. So we are jacking, and then it comes to a violent stop. So I thought it was just something that happened and the train derailed. Then suddenly there was gunshots, sporadic, non-stop. And so I knew that then it was not the normal thing that we experience on that train whenever we pass.
Mohammed, just the last question from me. I'm sure you've not had any military training apart from the one you and I did in Borno at the work from. But we're glad that you were by no, I mean, you didn't come to any harm. But from what you described to us, it would appear that this was a somewhat well-planned attack.
Exactly. While we were on the train waiting after the military came, somebody came in. He was with bruises on his shoulder and he was shirtless, and he tied his hand because it was bloody. He told us that he was among those that we are carried away by that he was able to jump out of the car, out of a bus, and then he ran back to the train. And we can see the bruiser. He told us that he saw 4 buses and then 3 Sharon, 7 vehicles that he parked close by, and they put all those people. And he also told us that among the people that they took along with him, they have shot about 2 others because the people refused to cover a lady that was shot dead. So, and while he was running, he came there, he removed his shirt to cover her up, and then he ran back to the train.
NTA's Deputy Director News, Mohammed Ali, giving his account. Salamatu in Kaduna has updates for us on the train attack. Salamatu, let's hear from you. Rigachukun, let's hear from you.
Business activities associated with Rigaset train station are paralyzed as a result of suspension of services announced by the Nigerian Railway Corporation following the attack on Abuja Kaduna train. Achari Maxwell has a situation report.
As our train station, which used to be a beehive of activities, is now a shadow of itself following the suspension of operations along the Kaduna-Abuja corridor.
Meanwhile, some family members have intensified search for their loved ones who are suspected to be missing in the aftermath of the attack.
I'm here to check the situation about my two boys that boarded the train from Iduyad in Abuja down to Kaduna yesterday, which the train that's supposed to cover around 6:10, which is supposed to be here by 8:14. Then on getting here, when they're supposed to arrive, then we discovered that there's a problem, and we couldn't find them, couldn't get them. We have gone to 44 military hospital to check if there's any update, but we can't find them. We check the mortuary there, and we go to Zungeru hospital in order to check them. But all our efforts is availed. So that's the reason why we come back to railway station in order to get more information how we can find them.
This man is among affected passengers and traumatized. He is at the Rigasa train station in search of his personal belongings.
For now, intending passengers have to wait until things have been sorted out. In Kaduna, Achari Maxwell, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has arrived Kaduna to commiserate with victims of train attack. He was received on arrival by Kaduna State Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai and members of the State Executive Council, as well as top security personnel. He visited victims receiving treatment at 44 Reference Hospital and St. Gerard Health Facility, Kakuri, Kaduna. Details in our subsequent bulletin. And that does it from Kaduna. Is back to you in Abuja for more on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much, Abdullah Rigachukun. Also, Senate has urged the Nigerian Army and Air Force to carry out a sustained bombardment of terrorist enclaves in and around Kaduna State to restore peace and security. This followed a motion by Senator Obasani, who drew the attention of the Senate to increased attacks in the state by terrorists and bandits, with the latest attack on the Kaduna airport and the Abuja Kaduna-bound train. Senators are worried that the attack on the train is an indication that the terrorists are strategizing, and therefore the federal government should declare a full-scale war against them.
The train derailed after the first wave of attacks. Grenades and RPG were used. They rained bullets on all the coaches. Some passengers were killed. Direct the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, and other relevant government agencies to assist the affected communities with relief materials.
Having live chats with people that were caught in the unfortunate incident. And it was really, really scary.
I urge our people to remain vigilant and report any suspicious movements to security operatives. Those in favor of prayer for say aye. Those against say nay.
Observed a 1-minute silence in honor of those who lost their lives in these attacks. Meanwhile, President Muhammad Buhari has written to Senate requesting the confirmation of 4 persons as executive commissioners in the board of the Nigerian Upstream Regulatory Commission. Following coordinated attacks on key transportation facilities, the House of Representatives is inviting security chiefs for an emergency meeting on best measures to tackle the menace. Also invited are the Minister of Transport, Minister of Aviation and heads of affected agencies. The House will, while debating the recent security breaches, in particular the attack last Friday by bandits at the Kaduna International Airport, as well as the attack on the Kaduna-bound train, described the incidents as disturbing and capable of eroding public confidence. Some lawmakers called on government to declare a state of emergency on the security situation in parts of the country. Away from security matters, the federal government is reassuring Nigerians of its irrevocable commitment to the rule of law, transparency, accountability, and prudent management of the nation's collective resources for enhanced socio-economic development. President Muhammadu Buhari, who stated this at the opening of the second National Tax Dialogue, pledged necessary support for viable initiatives aimed at repositioning the tax system for maximum efficiency. Status correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The National Tax Dialogue, with the theme Tax Harmonization for Enhanced Revenue Generation, is designed to engage critical stakeholders in the nation's tax space towards getting insights and wisdom on how best to improve Nigeria's revenue receipts for sustainable growth and economic prosperity.
Our tax system can do much more provided policies, laws, administrative processes, and practices are harmonized to function as one. The revenue profile of the country in 2021 has clearly shown that our continued survival as a nation depends on tax revenue.
That the Federal Inland Revenue Service achieved 100% collection target last year and surpassed 6 trillion naira revenue threshold for the first time is a testament to the success of the first edition of the National Tax Dialogue, and indeed a foundation on which subsequent editions would be judged.
For one agency to work very hard and generate over 40% of the entire monetary requirement of our nation, to me, this achievement is underreported. I repeat, very grossly underreported.
I'd like to thank Mr. President for all the support that he has given to the IRS towards ensuring that we're able to have enough to run the economy and fend for our people.
It is up to all of us to rework the national economy in a way that guarantees improved productivity, sustained growth, and prosperity for the good of the population. This precisely is why we are here today.
President Muhammadu Buhari expressed the belief that taxation is a sovereign tool for perpetuating an organized society, peace, development, and growth, saying, however, that there is limited space for government to impose new taxes.
As such, Nigeria must operate efficient tax administration in order to fully unlock our revenue potentials. The government must succeed at securing a buoyant domestic revenue base for the country. That is one way of bequeathing enduring economic foundation, political stability, and social harmony to the next generation.
And to avoid taxpayers being burdened with multiple tax compliance obligations towards different agencies of government, the President made it clear that the Federal Inland Revenue Service is the sole authority to administer tax for the federal government, saying multiplicity of tax administration creates uncertainty, instability, and inefficiency.
It is my expectation that discussions at this 2022 National Tax Dialogue will be focused on what we must do to maximize legitimate revenue collection and massively improve the tax to GDP ratio. We all know that good intentions are not enough, as they simply cannot pay for infrastructure, security, or social amenities. We must therefore improve tax revenue without necessarily raising new taxes. Revenue from commodities, including crude oil, are too volatile and unreliable.
During the event, top 20 Nigerian taxpayers were recognized and appreciated by President Muhammadu Buhari for their contributions to the development of Nigeria's economy. In Abuja, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And we'll take a break from tax matters now. Report reaching us says 8 persons have been confirmed dead and 41 hospitalized as a result of injuries from the attack on the Abuja Kaduna train. Minister of Transportation Chibuike Rotimi Amechi, who visited the scene of the attack in Regina, said he is saddened by the incident, promising to hasten the installation of sensors on the rail track, as well as a drone for 24 hours monitoring along the route. And back details will come in our subsequent bulletin. And back to tax matters, the Federal Inland Revenue Service is partnering the media for the purpose of reaching potential taxpayers through enlightenment campaigns. Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, while hosting media executives as part of activities marking this year's Tax Week, is of the view that such partnership will go a long way in fulfilling tax mandate. Boside Abel reports.
The Federal Inland Revenue Service is leveraging on the rich influence and power of the media to expand the nation's tax nets and to enable the service collect what belongs to the government. The FIRS boss Mohammed Nami believes the message must be apt and targeted at the right public, which the media is good at.
The media remain our critical stakeholder, so we request you to support us, and you are going to also encourage taxpayers to trust us with the tax payment that they will be making, which will also translate into salaries.
The media executives pledged to support the service to build on the successes being achieved.
In most developed democracies, it is taxation that propels and runs the budget of those countries.
We support the work that you do. Not you just personally, but also the FIRS.
The FIRS plans to rake in more than 10 trillion naira as revenue for the year 2022 and believes that with the media, the target is possible. In Abuja, Boside Abel, NTA News.
And here's a quick reminder that you can follow us live on our website, nta.ng/live, and other social media platforms on the screen. Hingino in Lagos has the next set of reports for us. Hello, Hingino.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Another set of 200 women are to benefit from intensive training designed to open channels of funding opportunities and support for businesses through skill acquisition for female entrepreneurs across the country. Kende Adebisi reports that the Academy for Women Entrepreneurs is an initiative of the U.S. Consulate General in Lagos.
Economic participation by women is believed to be integral to achieving greater security and stability around the world. The Academy for Women Entrepreneurs Initiative is leveraging on this by creating great opportunities for Nigerian female entrepreneurs to strengthen their networks and grow sustainable businesses that would give them economic independence.
And they're selected to ensure that we have a large spread of women from different backgrounds, different stages of their business, different states, different sectors. So it's a very diverse program.
To make this fourth edition of the Academy for Women Entrepreneurs more encompassing, new and old partners are here to sign a memorandum of understanding with the U.S. Consulate.
Technically, you are actually transforming the society, and if our goal is to transform the entire country and even African continent through technology, this is a good medium to do that.
They can apply for free, putting their best and be honest with their answers. And we have a college of readers who go through this application, select the finalists, semi-finalists, and then we'll have an interview with them to select the finalists.
Academy for Women Entrepreneurs is said to be a transformative initiative that will help Nigerian women build and sustain their businesses. Successful participants are expected to receive grants at the end of the program. In Lagos, Kende Adebisi, NTA News.
Talking education now, Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, and Non-Academic Staff Union, NASU, University of Lagos chapters have commenced a 2-week warning strike occasioned by government's inability to meet the lingering demands of the unions. Lim Leneke reports that by Wednesday, 30th March 2022, members of the two unions will go on a total shutdown.
The University of Lagos is near shadow of itself, as both the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and non-academic staff unions embark on a nationwide industrial action to implement directive of the national body to down tools for the next 2 weeks. This move have crippled both academic and social activities in all public universities.
Federal government fails to pay our minimum wage arrears since 2019. Up to date, we have not received anything. Our promotion arrears are still there. So a lot of things that government just keep promising without not fulfilling the promises. So that is the reason why this strike is on now.
SANU chairman UNILAG chapter pointed out that the unresolved issues is affecting its members and the students negatively.
Some of the schools in the state have not been receiving salaries. Some of them had received salary haphazardly. We cannot even plan for our salary properly. Also, most of our members that have retired, they had gone staff. They are still suffering and jostling to collect their pension.
He, however, said that the national body is open to dialogue with the federal government to address the pending issues. Sadly, incessant strikes have prolonged and destabilized the university curriculum while students continue to bear the brunt.
I've been on the level for like 2 years and we've not even written the exam.
It's the hope of many that the unresolved issues are urgently addressed so that students can go back to the lecture halls. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
Time now for our first break nationwide. We'll be back shortly.
Thanks for staying with us. Now to power generation. 700 megawatts of electricity is set to be delivered to the national grid from the Zungeru hydroelectric power plant. Minister of State for Power, Godi Jedi Agba, who gave the cheering news at the test run of Unit 1 of the project in Niger State. Joshua Ojito reports.
Zungeru hydroelectric power plant, Nigeria's biggest dam infrastructure, to generate 700 megawatts of electricity to the national grid. First unit of the plant completed, generating 175 megawatts of electricity, being evacuated to Mararaba substation in Gusase, Niger State. Work on the remaining 3 turbines the contractor says will be completed this year.
The EPC contract places the responsibility for delivering a hydropower at an expected performance by the contractor.
It's exciting, indeed exciting to be here and see this commissioning of stage 1. It shows President Muhammad Buhari's commitment to this project and to the project of power, clean energy to Nigerians. I assure you that by the end of this year, we should be able to commission the other 3 projects and put in 700 megawatt of energy to the grid, national grid for Nigerian public.
I have to commend the federal government for this project. We believe tremendously we are going to benefit out of this project.
With 75% funding by China Exim Bank and 25% financed by the federal government, the Zungeru hydroelectric power project is engaging 6,000 skilled and unskilled workers from Nigeria in line with local content policy. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has emphasized the need for African nations to continuously share COVID-19 recovery experiences for sustainable development. This was at the African Union Capacity Building Workshop on voluntary national reviews for the High-Level Political Reform Forum on Sustainable Development 2022 and Domestication of Agenda 2063 in Abuja. Joseph Otson reports.
22 representatives from member states of the African Union are participating in this 3 days workshop. They are to share COVID-19 experiences and success stories with the theme, Building Back Better from the Coronavirus while advancing the full implementation of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development.
Voluntary national and local reviews are essential tools, providing a clear picture of the state of play, identifying priorities for action, and accelerating progress in SDG implementation.
The reason we could respond with such resilience and bounce back from the pandemic was due to our commitment to implement development goals.
The Nigeria National Development Plan 2021 to 2025 has strategies that aim at achieving the targets set under each of these dual goal agendas, while the capabilities of policymakers are being strengthened.
COVID-19 pandemic has exposed the continent to so many challenges that require adequate reviews to bridge the gap so as to achieve speedy growth and development in Africa.
In 2015, the African Union adopted the African Agenda 2063, same year with the Global Agenda 2030 and Sustainable Development Goals. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
The need for all stakeholders to rise up in the fight against gender-based violence, which has been described as a setback to national development, has again been re-echoed. Minister of Women Affairs Pauline Talin made this known at a roundtable on the current state of affairs on the pending cases of sexual and gender-based violence in Nigeria. Obenka Marachuku reports.
Gender-based violence among women and children in recent times has been a menace to the society. These stakeholders here are on a roundtable discussion to appraise efforts in the fight against sexual and gender-based violence and identify grey areas and profile solutions.
It's not just a problem that the Ministry of Women Affairs can address alone. It's an issue that should be handled totally by all men and women of goodwill.
Key players speak on their roles in the fight against gender-based violence in Nigeria.
Okay, so anything that is done that borders on discrimination, that reduces your humanity, is anti-human rights. And we all agree that SGBV, that is sexual and gender-based violence, stems from social norms and practices of the society and individuals that tend to actually discriminate against a particular sect or a particular gender of the society because of their sex or because of their biological makeup.
News of maybe a child that is abused and things like that. So we must take the bull by the horn to ensure that we nip it in the bud. How can I forget NAPTIP?
Participants are optimistic with the collaboration between stake actors would help in halting the tides of sexual gender-based violence pandemic in Nigeria. In Abuja, Omenka Marchuku, NTA News.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo congratulates Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as he celebrates his 70th birthday. In a personally signed statement, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, on behalf of his family, prayed God to grant him strength, wisdom and favor. Commending the former governor's service to the nation in different capacities, the Vice President joins his entire family, friends and associates to celebrate a great patriot on his 70th birthday and prayed that at his days, so shall his strength, wisdom, and favor with God be. Let's now head to Enugu, where Mina is standing by with some reports for us.
Hello, Elizabeth. Good evening and welcome to Enugu. The issue of brain drain in the health sector and the resultant shortage of medical personnel in the health facilities is of utmost concern to the Enugu state government, and efforts are on to solve the problem. The state government admitted this problem when members of the Medical and Dental Consultants Association of Nigeria from the Enugu State University Teaching Hospital, Park Lane, raised the issue during their visit to the government house. Susan Eze has the report.
According to the Nigeria Health Watch, there are about 80,000 doctors registered with the Nigeria Medical and Dental Council as of June 2021, but only about 35,000 of them are practicing in the country. The others are working in other countries of the world. To meet the Sustainable Development Goals in healthcare, the World Health Organization suggests a 1 doctor to 600 patients ratio for member countries. However, the chances of Nigeria meeting this goal become slimmer with each medical personnel that departs the country, leaving 35,000 medical doctors to cater for over 200 million Nigerians. This issue of shortage of medical personnel was top on the agenda when members of the Medical Dental Consultants Association of Nigeria from the ESU Teaching Hospital in Enugu had a dialogue with the state government.
They have up to 10 job consultants presently that have less than 8 consultants.
According to Governor Ugwuanyi, represented by the Secretary to the State Government, government is aware of the situation and is working towards filling the gaps.
The government is trying to take some steps towards resolving some of these challenges.
The governor also indicated government's readiness to partner with medical professionals to reverse the trend of brain drain in the health sector. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
In its continued efforts to address unemployment and food security in the country, the Livelihood Improvement Family Enterprises Project for the Niger Delta Youths, LIFE-ND, has graduated more than 110 youths who have successfully gone through the apprenticeship and mentorship processes. Steve Lona Nwokolo reports that the graduates are now qualified to start up their own agric business to become self-reliant.
Livelihood Improvement Family Enterprises Project for the Niger Delta Youths, LIFE-ND, is a federal government project designed in collaboration with the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD. The agro-business activity, which focuses on youth training in poultry farming, palm and cassava processing, is aimed at addressing unemployment and food insecurity in the country. 3 graduating incubatees received cash awards that range from 100 to 200,000 naira for their outstanding commitment during the incubation period.
Except you don't want it to be. But if you work hard, all of you here will become incubators.
The project is currently active as we speak in 53 communities, having about 53 incubation centers in the various communities with not less than 280 incubatees.
There were goodwill messages from the representatives of the Abia State government. LIFE-ND project, which covers the 9 states of the Niger Delta region, engages and supports youths in target agricultural commodities of comparative advantage in their localities. In Umuahia, Steve Lonai, Nwaokolo, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's back to Elizabeth in Abuja for a continuation of Nationwide.
You're still watching Nationwide on NTA. The National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, says there's need for the university's Transparency and Accountability Solution, UTAS platform, to be sufficiently robust with functionalities implemented before being deployed to the production environment. This is as the agency puts the record straight on its role in the assessment of UTAS, the Academic Staff Union of Universities' proposed payment platform for public universities. A statement by NITDA's Head of Corporate Affairs and External Relations, Hadiza Omar, notes that going by the agency's assessment, the UTAS platform as it is currently implemented is limited and there are critical functionalities that have to be implemented, tested and passed before the solution can be considered to meet NITDA's due requirements. The statement shows that after NITDA assessed the solution, some risk vulnerabilities were discovered and the areas of improvement have been fully documented and shared with ASU team for necessary action. The expectation is for ASU to improve on the areas identified, work on the security issues flagged, and resubmit the solution for further assessment. A meeting of stakeholders in the education sector in Abuja is looking deeply into basic education in Nigeria with a view to improving the subsector. Abdulmalik Hassan reports that the Universal Basic Education Commission and MacArthur Foundation are the hosts.
For a while now, the Universal Basic Education Commission (UBEC) has been making moves to improve basic education in Nigeria, which informed this gathering.
There is no reason why we can have dilapidated schools. There is no reason why
we can have a child who will go to a school, spend 6 years without learning how to read and write. It's criminal. And perhaps any suburb that finds a child that, somebody will have to ask that particular school, the headmaster and the teacher, refund our money that we have spent on you for the last 6 years.
It is a forum involving members of the parliament as well as civil society organizations to identify lapses and ways to improve the basic education subsector. Contributions were laid, but improving funding for structures was a dominant point. While teachers training and ensuring they give much time on task to teach pupils was seen as important.
Today, we don't have libraries. When a child cannot read and write, how would a child actually know the difference between when they are touched inappropriately to when they can learn that a particular medication in front of them is dangerous?
For the last 60 years of our existence, we have paid too much emphasis on input. How much are we allocating to education? How much are we allocating to health? We need to push ourselves and begin to talk more about how much impact are those funds, are those allocations making in the lives of the ordinary people.
Now much is expected from civil society organizations to ensure effective monitoring of teachers' capability as well funding of this sector. Abdul Malik Hassan, NTA News.
The National Population Commission is strengthening its manpower to produce accurate and reliable population and housing census that will be generally acceptable, hence the organization of a 3-day census management training for federal commissioners across the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT. Oluseyi Adiagbo reports.
Efforts are being in top gear for Nigeria to have our first population and housing census in 15 years.
Because on my own data, I was never with MPC.
Abdulrazak Gidado, federal commissioner from Kwara State, and some of these commissioners were not actively involved in the 2006 census, and now they are among population managers making arrangements for a new exercise said to be adopting scientific planning and modern digital technology.
All of us need to be equipped with adequate knowledge so that when the time comes, none of us will be found wanting.
This is going to be my first experience. So I'm happy that this kind of trainings are taking place to prepare me properly.
We want to approach a census that is a digital one that has never been conducted in Nigeria. And we, as the policymakers, want to see how we can get the most accurate and acceptable census in Nigeria.
Chairman, National Population Commission, Nasru Isakwara, reaffirms on the Commission's vision to keep building its professional capacity to deliver on the historic mandate. The training was a series of persons introducing participants to risks inherent in the census project and mitigation plans coherent with the census methodology, has been familiarized with the United Nations principles and recommendations for best practices. In Abuja, Oluseyi Adiagbo, NTA News.
Building the National Vehicle Registry requires enhanced working relationship between the motor licensing officers and the Federal Road Safety Corps National Vehicle Inspection System. Corps Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps Boboye Oyemi emphasized this at the 2-day workshop for state directors, motor licensing authorities, and National Vehicle Inspection System desk officers in Nigeria. Oyeyemi Ajayi reports.
Data is one important tool for national security. However, in Nigeria, data duplication has hampered proper profiling. The National Vehicle and Driver's License Database, hosted by the Federal Road Safety Corps, has not just helped in the harmonization of data management in Nigeria, but has assisted various security agencies during investigation of crimes. The Corps Marshal, Boboye Oyeyemi, represented by the Deputy Corps Marshal Administration and Human Resources, said that the importance of a central database in the country cannot be overemphasized.
The inadequacy in the database is not connected with the individual and various perceptions about maintaining an all-inclusive and truly robust national database.
This workshop was organized by the Federal Safety Corps in collaboration with the Joint Task Board to enhance capacity and competence of operations of national vehicle inspection systems to address issues affecting vehicle data collation, uploading, and effective national driver's license distribution.
You can name up to 9 agencies that are issuing out identification number to individuals. In all of this, we haven't got a central point.
With the theme, Motor Vehicle Registration Data Management, a veritable tool for improved national planning and security. The Corps Marshal reiterates the need for uniformity in the licensing system in the country and build a robust national database to aid economic and national security planning. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Into sports now, patriotism combined with love in soccer can produce unimaginable feeling among Nigerians. This was evident at the Old Parade Ground, Abuja, where the Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture, Otumba Olusegun presided over the distribution of free tickets for Nigerians to watch and cheer the Super Eagles live against the Black Stars. Abdullahi Ajia reports.
Call it passion for one's country, you will not be mistaken, because the fans here are already gingered as they are being given free tickets to the stadium to support the Super Eagles of Nigeria. The Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture, Otumba Olusegun is one patriotic Nigerian that is exemplifying love for one's country. And the Super Eagles World Cup second leg playoff against the Black Stars of Ghana is providing a unique opportunity to unite Nigerians on a sport they are passionate about.
Show them that this country and the project. A lot of Nigerians to support the national team, but that's why today, with enough tickets, we've come with water packs to cool their temperature. Nigerian team.
500 free tickets was offered for fans whose ginger was intense even before the match. In an organized fashion, the tickets were distributed with much commendation for the gesture.
I know with this kind of support from Olusegun and his team, it will propel the supporters to give the necessary support for the Super Eagles to win the match, and I'm very sure we will defeat Ghana.
I'm here to support Nigeria to victory. Today we are going to beat Ghana and take home the maximum 3 points. And we are headed to Qatar.
National Super Eagle, they're going to Eagle. Sure. No, I'm very that today we're going to make us proud. So I'm very happy
to be giving them play live and giving free transport to the venue, the economic situation of the country. Free, it will bring out the team up.
It enables a lot of people to be there in order to support this Super Eagles, and it will in turn make them to know that the support is there in order to play well at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, whether Ghana like it or not, they are going home.
Dr. Rafiu Oladipo and the Nigerian Supporters Club were in their usual elements of cheering.
Has been supporting us. When we were going to Cameroon, this same man raised 10 million online members for the Supporters Club. And today again is here to want to distribute 500 free tickets to Nigerians who will be wearing green and white to be in the stadium. That's a patriotic person. What we need today is the stadium to be painted in green and white, the stadium to be booming, to be dancing, to be cheering, to support the Super Eagles. I know with the support, we can win. Baba ko ba wa se, Baba ko ba wa se o.
Apart from the free tickets, Nigerian flag, water and transportation were also provided for the fans. Abdullah Hachia, NTA News.